If you think that inflation is bad now, just wait until we get into early next year. A massive price surge is about to hit us in 2025. We're talking about price increases of 20%, 25%, or even more. This isn't just speculation, it's a reality that major corporations are already warning us about. Thousands of everyday products will be affected. The cost of living is going to skyrocket, and many families will be pushed to the brink. This is about a fundamental shift in our economy, one that will leave a lot of people struggling to afford basic necessities. The time to prepare is now because the price surge is coming. Don't dismiss this as fear-mongering. This is coming straight from the top. Major corporations, the giants of the food industry, are the ones raising the red flags. General Mills, the company behind household names like Cheerios and Betty Crocker, has already announced significant price hikes across their product lines. Tyson Foods, one of the world's largest meat processors, is following suit. They've warned of double-digit price increases on their beef, pork, and chicken products. Kraft Heinz, the name behind your favorite condiments and packaged foods, is also jumping on the price increase bandwagon. These aren't isolated incidents. This is a pattern across the board. What does this mean for you? It means your weekly grocery bill is about to explode. Remember those staples you rely on, the bread, milk, eggs, and cheese? Get ready to pay significantly more for them. Those convenience foods you grab for a quick meal, expect to see their prices jump too. This isn't about cutting back on luxury items. It's about the fundamental building blocks of our diets becoming increasingly unaffordable. Every trip to the supermarket will be a harsh reminder of the shrinking value of our dollars. The impact on our wallets will be undeniable. For millions of American families, especially those already struggling to make ends meet, these price hikes could be devastating. Imagine being a single parent working 2 jobs to put food on the table, only to find that your already stretched budget can no longer cover the basics. Imagine having to choose between paying rent and feeding your children. This isn't just about inconvenience, it's about real families facing impossible choices. The widening gap between wages and the cost of living is pushing more and more Americans into a corner. This is the human cost of these price hikes. Walmart's gamble, a double-edged sword. Even retail giants like Walmart are feeling the pressure. They've announced plans to absorb some of the rising costs, hoping to keep prices low for their customers. This might sound like good news, but it's a risky strategy. Walmart operates on razor-thin profit margins, and absorbing these costs could eat into their profits. This could lead to store closures, job losses, and even higher prices in the long run. Walmart's gamble is a sign of the times, a desperate attempt to stay afloat in a turbulent economic sea. It remains to be seen whether this strategy will pay off or backfire spectacularly. Even Dollar Tree isn't a safe haven anymore. Remember the days when you could walk into a Dollar Tree and find everything for $1? It was a place where you could stretch your budget and still come out with a bag full of goodies. Those days are long gone. The simplicity of knowing that every item was just $1 has vanished. The iconic dollar store, once a haven for bargain hunters, has been forced to raise its prices. This change has left many loyal customers feeling disheartened. Rising costs have made it impossible for them to maintain their signature dollar price point. The increase in prices is a reflection of the economic challenges that many businesses are facing today. Now, most items at Dollar Tree cost $1.25, a significant increase that reflects the broader inflationary pressures. This may seem like a small change, but for many, it adds up quickly. Even the most budget-friendly stores are not immune to the forces driving up prices. Shoppers who rely on these stores for affordable essentials are feeling the pinch. This is a clear indication that the price surge is real and affecting all corners of the retail landscape. From groceries to household items, the impact is widespread, and consumers are left to navigate this new reality. As we move forward, it's important to stay informed and adapt to these changes. Budgeting and smart shopping are more crucial than ever. While the days of everything for $1 are behind us, the spirit of finding value and making the most of every penny remains. A nation feeling the pinch, pointing fingers. It's no surprise that public dissatisfaction with the current administration's handling of the economy is growing. Americans are feeling the pinch of inflation every time they go to the grocery store or fill up their gas tanks. They're looking for answers, and they're not finding them in the current policies. The administration's response to the crisis has been met with skepticism and outright anger. Many believe that the government's policies, from massive spending bills to energy regulations, have only exacerbated the problem. The blame game is in full swing, and the administration is facing a growing chorus of criticism. The policies fueling the fire. Critics argue that the administration's policies have fueled the flames of inflation. They believe that the measures taken to stimulate the economy have had unintended consequences, leading to a surge in prices that affects everyday consumers. They point to the trillions of dollars pumped into the economy through stimulus packages and government spending as a major contributor to the problem. These actions, while intended to provide relief and boost economic activity, have also increased the money supply significantly. Critics argue that these policies have created an excess of money in circulation, leading to a decrease in the value of the dollar. This devaluation means that each dollar now buys less than it did before, contributing to the overall rise in prices. Furthermore, they criticize the administration's energy policies, arguing that they have stifled domestic energy production and led to higher energy prices. The restrictions on drilling and other energy production activities have reduced the supply of energy, driving up costs. These higher energy costs ripple through the economy, affecting everything from transportation to manufacturing. When energy prices rise, the cost of producing and transporting goods also increases, which is then passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. The debate over the causes of inflation is complex and multifaceted, but it's clear that the administration's policies have played a role. While some argue that these measures were necessary to prevent a deeper economic crisis, others believe that the long-term effects have been detrimental. The challenge now is finding a balance between stimulating the economy and controlling inflation, a task that requires careful consideration and strategic planning. Echoes of the 1970s inflation storm. The current inflationary environment is drawing comparisons to the stagflation of the 1970s. Back then, the world was grappling with an unprecedented economic crisis that left a lasting impact on global economies. That era saw a toxic combination of high inflation, stagnant economic growth, and high unemployment. People were struggling to make ends meet, and the economic uncertainty was palpable. While the current situation is not identical, there are enough similarities to raise concerns. Economists and policymakers are closely monitoring the trends, drawing lessons from the past to navigate the present challenges. Just like in the 1970s, we're seeing a surge in energy prices, supply chain disruptions, and geopolitical tensions that are exacerbating the situation. The ripple effects are being felt across various sectors of the economy, and a decline in consumer purchasing power. Families are finding it harder to afford basic necessities, and the cost of living is rising at an alarming rate. The Federal Reserve is also facing a similar dilemma, trying to tame inflation without triggering a recession. Balancing these competing priorities is a delicate act, and the stakes are incredibly high. The lessons of the 1970s serve as a stark reminder that inflation can spiral out of control with devastating consequences for the economy and everyday Americans. The scars of that era are still visible in the collective memory of those who lived through it. As we navigate these turbulent times, it's crucial to remember the past and apply its lessons to avoid repeating the same mistakes. The resilience and adaptability of the American people will be tested once again as we strive to overcome these economic challenges and build a more stable future. The price surge of 2025 is not a matter of if, but when. The warning signs are flashing, and it's crucial that we take steps to prepare ourselves for the coming storm. This means reevaluating our budgets, finding ways to cut back on unnecessary expenses, and exploring alternative options for essential goods and services. Consider growing your own food, exploring local farmers markets, and seeking out community resources that can help you weather the storm. This is not the time for complacency, it's the time for action. The price surge is coming, but by taking steps to prepare, we can mitigate its impact on our lives.